Kelly Gruber is part of the Legends of Sports event that's going on tonight with the Lethbridge Bulls. Welcome to Lethbridge and welcome to Canada. How do you feel back to your second home?
Canada. It feels good to be back. You know, I was here, I don't know, about last summer in Alberta. Made the West Coast trip.
Sure.
We did the Rogers, all their different stores, and met different people and all over the place here, all the way to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to be back. It's the Midwest, and I'm from Texas, and there's a lot in common.
It's fun to watch you. You love people. You love mingling with the fans. It's kind of fun to see that.
I have no problem being in a dark room by myself with no mirrors.
Yeah.
And solitude.
Yeah.
I think all the adoration, idolization, all of that's really kind of spooky, really kind of weird. I put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. I don't really see a whole lot of difference in that, and but it's part of the territory, and I make the best of it.
Sure.
And I don't know that I try to be myself.
Sure, but I mean, how do you wrap yourself around the fact a nation, 25 million people, 30 million people, watched a sport, baseball, watched you participate in the first time that a Canadian team or a team outside of the U.S. wins a World Series, you were part of it, a nation goes crazy. What was that experience for you like at that time? And when you think back about it, what do you think of?
Well, it is two different thoughts. While I'm going through it, I didn't pay much attention to it. Yeah. So it wasn't like I had any idea or any kind of, thinking one way or the other about it, because I was focused. Yeah. I was on the game. I couldn't afford to think about that in the volume that holds, and still be able to concentrate and play the game on the field. With that in mind, I look back and I see it now, coast to coast. You look at the dates of 9/11, look at the dates, which is my time. You look at the date John F. Kennedy, even further, a little bit further back in my time, when he was assassinated. Everybody knew when Armstrong landed on the moon, everybody knew Paul Henderson scored and beat
listen
the Russians.
to you. Wow.
Right?
I'm impressed with that one.
Everybody knew
Yeah.
where they were.
Yeah.
We go coast to coast. Everybody knew when that triple play happened and that I got him,
Yeah.
and everybody knew where they were when we won the World Series.
Yeah.
So it's embedded into history, the same tremendous, feeling as those, and that's very special. That's very, very special, and it's no other team, I don't believe, anywhere can say they play for an entire country,
Yeah.
as we could, especially with Montreal having been out of the picture now.
Yeah. Well, I asked this about Cito Gaston as well. Final out, Otis Nixon, he bunts. From your perspective, did that shock you? Or was that something you were waiting for? And how relieved were you when it was just a simple play, a throw over to first?
It shocked me. It surprised me. Look, Otis Nixon, that's part of his game. He's going to do it one strike, two strikes. It didn't matter what count, how many outs, obviously what game, what inning.
Yeah.
Nothing mattered. That's part of his game. He wasn't really known as a guy that was a pure hitter.
Yeah.
Made good contact all the time. So that was part of his offense. And I always played him, always, any count, any game, any situation, to bunt. The bottom line with him was to take that out of his repertoire, take that out of his game, and make him swing the bat, which is the weaker part, what he did the best. Yeah. So, it wasn't a surprise, but it was, because it was the magnitude of the game.
Yeah. One thing about it's one thing to win a World Series, but you really contributed to the team too. That must have felt good. Well, you were a big part of it.
Well, thank you. I struggled that whole year. That was my last year playing, and a couple of torn discs on the triple play, tore the rotator cuff, sublexed it, the labrum, stretched it all out, everything. Quite frankly, don't know how I got through that season, because this happened 3.5 weeks into the season, April 25th.
Unbelievable.
So I played the whole season. I think my numbers were way, way, way down my last year. And the toughest part of it all, obviously, was not crying because you're in such pain. And
No crying in baseball.
yeah, and getting out on that field and playing. But the biggest was not letting that other team know what my weaknesses were, so they could pound on that area harder. I was already struggling and fighting enough that I had to keep it quiet. Plus, I didn't get the proper diagnosing. There was a lot of problems, and everything. I look at everything as everything's meant to be. Everything happens for a reason, and at the time we may not know. And hindsight's always 20/20, you know. So it's a situation where it was a very much love-hate relationship that year.
Is that the greatest moment in your life? Final out, you did, World Series?
Yeah, and you know, they say you're going out sometime.
Yeah.
You're not playing forever. One day it will be your last pitch. One day it will be your last swing, your last hit, your last throw. And the thing was, what a way to go out. I mean, a World Series. I had no idea at the time that I was done. You know, I just knew that I was pretty messed up, and I figured, that good 3-month off season won't put on the shelf for me and cure. But it so much wasn't the case. So, but you're going out sometime, and what a way to go out.
Fantastic. Well, one final thought. Cito Gasson's here, of course, with you. How was he as your manager?
He was great. Yeah, Cito was great. You know, he was a player. He fought the battles. He fought the wars. He knows. He's not somebody who's trying to tell us how to do something that he's never done. Instant respect. And, you know, he was what they call a player's manager. You never heard from Cito if he didn't hear that you were out pounding those pavements all hours of the night, ripping it up, and then showing up at the ballpark and seeing how badly you're failing playing the game. Then you would hear from Cito, and only hear from Cito then. Going through a slump, which everybody goes through, you never heard from him. He was always there. He had an open door policy. I remember going in there one time and saying, Cito, you mind if I'd like to talk to you? Oh, sure, Grooves, come in. And he made sure he told everybody when he took the helm, he said, I'm an open door manager. Never will you see my door shut. And you can always come in and talk to me about anything and everything that you need. And so I said, great. He's going in there, I'm going to talk to him. He said, yeah. I go to shut the door. I shut it. He goes, Grooves, open the door. I went, what? I need to talk to you, Cito. Now open the door. And I forgot.
It's an open door policy.
Yeah. So we talked and did what we did. And I think that was the beautiful thing about it. There was nothing to hide with any of the players, anything. We were a team, and no closed doors, no wondering what's going on behind that door over there.
Fantastic. Kelly Gruber, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.